goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere, and we hope around the world.
I have a dream.
Well, that's where we start when I go into politics.
Continue to be held as hostages in an attempt to force unacceptable demands on our country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Is increasing inequality and deep divisions among our own people.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack.
Congress has failed to pass federal hate crimes legislation that protects LGBT Americans from senseless violence.
So let us summon a new spirit of patriotism, of responsibility, where each of us resolves to pitch in and work harder and look after not only ourselves but each other.
Broadcasting live from the MSC Radio Network in the city built on steel, rock and roll, and is the fictitious home of Betty White. This is Joust It Out, and I'm your host, G. Today is Wednesday, July 18th, 2012, and I'm just here alone with Judith Pindell, the lovely Judith Pindell. How are you?
Reporting for duty.
Yes. Robin Our Hearts, we don't know where the hell she is. We were told by
She's
her...
MIA. She went AWOL.
Her faithful assistant today said that she was on her way. She would be here today, but I don't know where she is. I'm sure we're, all waiting anxiously to see what her excuse is at 7:05.
I can just imagine.
I hope it's a really good one.
What kind of trouble she's gotten herself into this time.
It can only be bad. Because otherwise we'd get a phone call.
Oh,
so
no.
Judith Pindell, it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a really long time.
Well, we had
the nation's birthday party.
That's right.
That happened
on our show on
right.
July 4th. So that show, we did not have a show.
We took the day off.
We took the day off like everybody else and had fun. Actually, did you have a nice 4th?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
I honestly don't remember what I did. That was 2 weeks ago.
We were with a bunch of great friends of ours all over on the west side, hanging out, kind of bar hopping, and we really had a great time. I have to admit, it's probably the best 4th of July I've had in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good for you.
I know. And it's summer. We're in that mode. It's I'm going actually on vacation on Friday of this week, but I'll be back next week. I will not be back next week on Wednesday, though. Judith Pindell will be doing the main anchor role here, and she'll have another woman power show, which will be very interesting, right?
We'll see. We'll see. You all will be in my hands.
Yes, but you have some good guests lined up. I think it's going to be a nice show.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Sexy sex. Sex.
Oh, my God. Don't scare.
And the war on women.
War on women.
Yeah.
Don't scare Chris, though. Don't upset Chris. He's going to be here with all these women again.
I'm not coming in.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm sending the intern in.
Oh,
all right. Well, that's
fine. He's going to run the board.
He's so
perfect.
Full of crap. In our second half hour tonight, we are going to have a guest, Mandy Grigsby, and you might remember her. You remember her husband. He was the nice guy that this viral video that we ended up being part of, which we never wanted to be part of, which was the truck driver that got angry with the gay pride float and all this drama that happened. And I don't want to relive all of it right now, but anyways, Amanda's going to be coming on. There are some recent events that just took place, and we're going to fill people in the second half hour. But, the big news right now, the real big news is Romney. I mean, Romney is, wow. He is sidestepping. He's got interesting stuff going on because, folks are waiting for him to show tax returns and to be honest.
Which he didn't think he was going to have to show.
I don't know why.
Running for president.
Yeah.
Presidential candidates and nominees are always being asked for that
I think it's a really interesting thing about the fact that he thinks he can get away coming in saying that he's going to be the president that fixed the economy because he's the big business guy. I was a great governor. I know all about business. I can save, create jobs, blah, blah, blah. But now we don't want to show the financials of what that looked like. Now we know that he was successful and profitable, but
because
why
he's a bazillionaire.
Why was he successful
Right.
and profitable is the other reason. And we all know that it's tied to outsourcing of American jobs. Well, and not all of what he did, but a lot of it, as they walked away with big bonuses. That's no news to anyone,
Right.
and what a capital group does. But I want to play a clip because we're going to kick it off with, actually, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to talk about that yet. And here's why. Because we missed some time here. In the last couple of weeks, there was the meeting where he went to the NAACP.
Right.
And then we'll hit the money stuff because
Okay,
the money
yeah,
stuff's
the money-
today.
yeah,
But
yeah,
we
that's-
missed that week, and I really want to show this clip because it's a really interesting conversation.
Kind of shows you, like how down to earth this guy is,
And I submit to you this. If you want a president who will make things better in the African American community, you are looking at him. You take a look.
You take a look. He is so in touch with his constituency, don't you think?
I think he is. Look at me.
Take a look.
Take a look. I'm the guy. Black folk, Asian folk, Jewish folk,
Women.
So conceited.
gay folk. Look at me. I'm your guy.
It's so freaking patriarchal. It's disgusting.
Oh my God.
It's so disgusting. You're
So conceited.
we have the first African American president, and he's going to say, no, no, no. You know what's best?
Me, yeah. Well, so that all played out the last couple of weeks, and I think that it just shows how disconnected he is really from the voters, from his audience, and I think that he does have a great deal of arrogance to walk into the NAACP and say, "I'm your guy."
Well, and what do you think about? So some of the pundits are saying that he did that on purpose. That he
Right.
knew what he was walking into. He didn't change his speech. He could have easily changed it. They do that all the time, talking about who their audience is. He clearly didn't do that. He was blatantly did not do that.
My
but I
jury's
just
out.
think he's an idiot. I just don't think that. I think he's clueless.
I think he went off script. I
think
really
he's just
do.
clueless,
I don't
yeah.
know if I think. I heard that too, and
He said, I'm going to take down Obamacare.
all right. I know.
you
Well,
know.
that was a big
Yeah.
blunder. And I don't think, you're going into the general election. He knows that he needs moderates of this country. He needs independents, and they're not the Tea Party anymore. So for him to worry about showing that he is not down with the African American folks and that he can get booed and strategize that, I just don't buy that. It's not. He knows he needs to be in the middle of America to win, not extreme right, because the extreme right is not going to be the ones that get him in the White House.
Right.
So I don't know if I buy into that. Do you?
No, I don't. I just, I just
Shaking
know
your
that
head.
it's out
We're on
there.
radio, so that doesn't work.
Look at me.
People can't hear your shake of your head.
I'm interacting with you. People listen to this?
No, that's why I'm telling you that they'll shut off
right.
if you don't talk.
No, I don't agree. I agree with you, but I just thought that was an interesting thing. I'm
She
not
always
sure
agree
where
with me.
that. Oh my God.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what was I talking about? So now you've thrown me all. I'm over this. What's next?
Don't get so frazzled just because Robin's not here. I know what happens with you, Judith Pindell. So here's what happens with Judith, is that any little thing that takes place that's out of the realm, and she's a pretty flexible person by nature, but I think when it comes to doing this show, you get all ratcheted up, and then all of a sudden, this is wrong, and the sign's not up, and the interns didn't show, and Robin's
We didn't
late.
start until 4 minutes after.
But that's and why? Let's talk about that for a second, because the disrespect of our loved ones. They do not understand we are doing a show. It starts at 7, but the phone rings at 6:59.
Right.
And then we'll have a conversation. And then you're supposed to hang up with them. It's it's rude. So all of our loved ones just know it's very rude if you call us at 6:59 on a Wednesday. Not cool. We love you, but that's the other issue. Go ahead.
Anyway, well, so I'm wondering if they try to put it out there, if the Romney campaign tried to put it out there, like, oh no, we did that on purpose. This was very purposeful.
They did do
that. Right. And so trying to spin it that way, like, oh no, our candidate isn't an idiot and out of touch. He did that on purpose. He wants to prove something.
And we know that that's, I don't know. I think you're right when you said the fact that he messed up so bad about Obamacare, and even just calling it Obamacare at the NAACP is insulting in itself. And the fact that he did that, I don't think he really knew what he was doing. But, and then, of course, now what's happened is in the last couple of weeks, the campaign, the Obama campaign has really ratcheted up their ads and their dollars in places like Ohio and really swing states. It's funny, I was listening to our dear friend, Buddy Cianci show in Rhode Island and yesterday, and he was complaining. He was like, there's no ads in Rhode Island.
Oh my God, come to Ohio, please.
Yeah, I mean,
I rarely watch TV, but when I do, there's always
it's all you get.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, it's like 4 in a row.
It's ridiculous.
It's an Obama, a Romney, a Sherrod Brown, and a Josh Mandel.
I know.
That's all in a row, just like that.
I know that's another heated race between Josh Mandel and Sherrod Brown. I mean, that's a concern. I mean,
yeah, it really is. It's really scary.
I think that's a perfect example of someone having too much money and
not enough brains,
and just choosing that I want to be a U.S. senator and I can pay for that, so I will do that.
Yeah. How many times has Obama been here in Ohio so far?
Countless.
It's countless. I mean, he'll be here again next week. I think
we need to get a count. Like
we should have a count.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do a little countdown.
We should.
A ticker.
That's a good idea. Keep that idea. That's what we need to
check.
do.
Let me take a note.
Check that one. But so the campaign is ratcheted up, and actually a lot of times it seems like Obama comes, Romney comes at the same time. They battle it out. Their surrogates come. They had Bobby Jindal here.
Handlers.
Yeah. No, their surrogates came.
Bobby Jindal. Yeah.
Yeah, he was chasing around Obama a couple days here in the state,
which leads rise to all of these VP nominees,
which we'll talk about in a sec. But so of course, as the campaign is ratcheted up, the Obama campaign has really been very clear in tying Bain Capital with Romney into doing some pretty bad things, and go ahead.
And as far as Romney and the Bain Capital thing, I mean, I guess on the one hand, I can understand if you're like a bazillionaire and you're a busy guy and you might not realize that you're still the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. Things get in the way. You're making $1 bajillion. You don't know where it's coming from. And, 3 years go by and crap. You're still the CEO.
There is one good excuse. When he went to run the Olympics in Utah, that made sense that there was a period where he is responsible.
3-year period.
But he's responsible no matter what.
No matter
you're the
what.
CEO,
His name is on it.
Right. You're signing off on the docs. And by the way, it's not like this guy's doing this himself. He has a team of staff that are doing these things for him. They know better. He knows exactly what was going on. They report to him. He signs off. It's done. It's BS to say that I wasn't involved. Of course you were. Let's play this clip.
Governor Romney, you have been hammered by the president and by the president's campaign over your time at Bain. In fact, one of his top advisors actually suggested you may even have committed a felony when it comes to the SEC filings about exactly when you turned over the management. I'd like to give you a chance to respond.
Well, of course, that's ridiculous and disturbing to come from their campaign and beneath the dignity of the president and his campaign. The president needs to take control of these people. The kinds of attacks that they've been making have now been checked time and time again by independent fact checkers. They've been found to be false and misleading, simply wrong, but they keep on doing everything they can to deflect attention from the fact that the American people want someone who can help create jobs in this country, get people working again. We've had 41 straight months with unemployment above 8%. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the president's record on the deficit. Instead, they want to see if they can't divert to some kind of outrageous charge. It's Chicago-style politics at its worst, and the president promised something better than this when he ran last time, and he ought to disavow it and rein in these people that are running out of control.
Should the president apologize
for
what his advisors have said about you?
Well, he's got ads out there. It says at the end of the ad that I'm Barack Obama and I approve these messages. He sure as heck ought to say he's sorry for the kinds of attacks that are coming from his team. It's very disappointing on his part. It's beneath the dignity of the President of the United States to go out and say the kinds of things that are being said. And even Democrats are saying that. Look, the American people want to know who can get this country working again and can see rising incomes again and finally get our budget on a pathway to become balanced. And they're tired of this kind of old-style politics, and I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.
All right.
Chicago style, like deep dish.
Yeah, I like the Chicago style.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes good.
Tasty.
Tasty. Now, folks that might not realize because we had these questions by someone that said, what is Chicago-style politics? And the old school thing is that it's really ties to organized labor, and then which was tied to organized crime and history. And of course, and for many years in Chicago, you had the Daley family, but other families that had really tied. And if you wanted to do anything in the city, you had to go through them. And they try to make it like, if you're from Chicago, you must be in the mob, or you must be part of that kind of underbelly of politics. And so that's what that is in reference to, for those that aren't familiar with that. But go ahead.
And I just thought it was deep dish. So in other words, Romney wants the Obama campaign to apologize for putting out information about Romney's record of being a CEO and business person, which is the platform that he's running on. I'm just trying to understand.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, he doesn't want to talk about it.
Right.
And it's
he's making it sound like it's irrelevant. It's completely relevant. He brought it up. He set the stage to talk about those things. And now when they're coming up, it reminds me of that, the whole thing. Oh, I'm a prankster and I play hijinks and, I'm a really down to earth guy. And then you find out that he was a bully and bullied gay kids, And I think with him, with Obama, is that there's this undertone, he's not fit to be president. He needs to apologize to me. For him to say that, how dare his campaign be so negative? That is not worthy of the White House or the seat of the president. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, what we had in the last administration, in the Bush administration, what took place there, we've said it before, from war crimes to horrible things that took place. It's unbelievable. And in the last couple of campaign cycles, I mean, let's face it, presidential campaigns have always been hard fought and battled. And depending on what era it was, at the same time they would say, oh, it's dirty politics. Oh, this. It's BS. And for you to say that the president is, embarrassing the White House and certainly the office of the presidency, that's ridiculous. It really is. I'm agreeing.
Stop shaking your damn
I'm agreeing.
head and speak.
I think it's funny that he believes that his background is a diversion from what's going on. I mean, we're in the middle of a political presidential election, so what else should we be talking about? Yes, we're talking about the economy, but by the way, it's your friends in Congress that don't want to talk about the economy. They're too busy talking about my uterus.
But they also want to talk, by talking about the president needing to apologize, he also doesn't have to talk about other things. Like, the Swiss bank account and other things of that. So it's a nice diversion.
The Cayman Islands.
It's a little diversion. I want to play this clip.
He had a secret company in Bermuda. Not a lot of Americans have that. 12 offshore.
This is a little montage.
Cayman Islands and that Swiss bank account.
He's the first and only candidate for president of the United States with a Swiss bank account, with tax shelters, with tax avoidance schemes that involve so many foreign countries.
I pick a bank because there's an ATM near my home, right? Mitt Romney had a bank account in Switzerland.
Why does an American businessman need a Swiss bank account and secretive investments like that?
You either get a Swiss bank account to conceal what you're doing, or you believe the Swiss franc is stronger than the American dollar.
He bet against America when he put his money in Swiss bank accounts and tax havens and shelters, and also set up the secret company, the shell company in Bermuda, which, by the way, in order to avoid disclosure, he put in his wife's name right before he became governor of Massachusetts. Nobody knows why he has a corporation in Bermuda, why he failed to disclose that on 7 different financial disclosures.
The amount of money that he's put out of the country in tax havens offshore, in secret Bermuda companies, does that make sense for voters?
Nope, it doesn't.
Well, he can become president. He could play shell games with the U.S. dollar and the budget, and we just ship all of that overseas.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the Treasury. We don't need any of that. We'll just outsource that, right?
Did you talk about that?
Yeah. Do you remember when Romney was saying that they should fire people and all this other stuff?
Oh, he likes to be able to fire people. Yes, I remember.
And then, do you remember when? Do you remember the remarks that Obama said something about the business owner didn't build his business? Did you hear that comment?
Yes.
Okay, well, Romney just had a press conference a second ago.
Oh, he did? And what did he say?
Well, you want to hear it?
Sure, go ahead. Thank you.
On Friday, President Obama exposed what he really thinks about free people and the American vision and government, what he really thinks about America itself. He probably wants to understand why his policies failed. If you want to understand why his policies have failed, why what he has done has not created jobs or rising incomes in America, you can look at what he said. And what he said was this. He said, and I quote, and he's speaking, by the way, of businesses like this one, small businesses, big businesses, middle-sized businesses, mining businesses, manufacturing, service businesses of all kinds. He said this. If you've got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
It's not what he said. You can cut it off, Chris. You can cut it off. That's totally out of context. And he was talking about and very clearly saying that every piece of it is tied to government and when our nation grew. So when he was talking about building the infrastructure of the highways, the American people, yes, there are businesses that profited and did the work, but also the U.S. government decided let's expand and create highways and create a wonderful infrastructure that would bring us into the future. So that's what he was saying in that conference.
Right. And who really single-handedly created their own business. You know what I mean?
That's
without
the other
the
piece
community,
he was saying.
Correct. Without you gotta have customers to have a business.
Yeah.
So it really is the community. It's the banks. It's it's everybody who's kind of pulled together. Family. I mean, it's you talk to anybody with a small business, it really does consume the entire family, and
got that right.
Right. So I mean, I think that's absolutely fair to say that
truly.
that a single business, one business person didn't get there by themselves.
But the remark that he did make, though, it kind of it threw the American people off a little bit, the way he said it. I think maybe people were taking it out of context. So, I mean, I sort of, when I first listened to it, I'm like, wait a minute, I sort of helped build my MSC radio network,
right. But Chris, here's the thing, is that I think that he might have misstepped with the wording just a bit.
Right,
but if you look in the context of the entire press conference and what he was saying, or that speech, you definitely see the nuance of where he was going with it.
Yeah, and
I think that's
when I got it. I was like, oh wait a minute, okay, he's not talking about that. He's talking about something totally different. And then Romney has to come back on the attack and.
And by the way, Romney was born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Thank you.
So he really didn't have to work that hard to create his own business, like say someone who came out of East Cleveland.
Can I have 2% of your Swiss bank account?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, here's the thing: is that you're right. He was born with a Swiss bank account. He was born with a Swiss
all that too. A trust fund, a Swiss bank account, a silver spoon.
He probably was.
That's so funny.
A horse stable.
His father probably did have one for him.
Just saying, he probably did.
So
by the way, is it dressage or dressage? I don't know. I never owned horses.
So anyway, now I'm all thrown off. But what I was going to say is that his arrogance around things is that because he came from a wealthy family and his family had the money to give him to get started in Bain Capital and his other business ventures. And then if he got into trouble, the family was there with their dollars to bail him out and fix the problems. So he doesn't even know what that's like. So it is so disingenuous for him to stand there and act like he's insulting you,
like
small
he was a
business.
self-made man.
You little cafe owner. I understand your plight. No, you don't.
And he uses the policies and loopholes to his advantage. Those policies are in place that help put him there. Tax cuts were in place that help put him there. That's all government.
Oh, by the way, it's great coffee, though. That's probably what he'll say after he's walking out the door, though.
What are you talking about?
Your cafe owner thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But, so part of that is you look at his history, you look at his father's history. His father was a man that believed he had a divine calling to be the president of the United States and failed in his attempt to be the president of the United States. Mitt grew up in a household where he was told that maybe and was brought to believe in his lifetime that he should do that. And I want to play this clip about what people are saying this possibly is for not only Mitt, but the Mormon religion and what the future holds, what they believe it should hold for the country.
And I have it set, yes.
This issue of this white horse comes up. First of all, explain exactly what this is.
Well, the prophecy is, as you said, it's been discounted by the church. It was supposedly said back in 1843 by Joseph Smith, but the only person who heard it was a guy who didn't say anything about it until 50 years later. And then the church back in 1918 said that they didn't believe it and since have issued a number of declarations saying that the prophecy isn't something that counts as official doctrine of the church. But what it predicts is that there would be a time when the Constitution is hanging by a thread. And at that point, a wealthy Mormon would rise up and come to save the Republic, save the Constitution, and sort of lead the United States and the rest of the world into an Armageddon-style war against Russia. So again, this prophecy has been discounted, but there is a connection to it out in the world of Mormons who believe in a role that they have to preserve the Constitution and to have a special place within the American story.
And again, it's been discounted, but as you note in your article, a number of Mormon lawmakers say that people have come to them and asked them about it.
That's right. This is something that, from the people that I've spoken to, tends to come up. People treat it as a folklore, as a mythology in some respects. But what they do is they talk about this idea of hanging by a thread and the role that they have to play in preserving the Constitution and saving the Constitution. It's very much part of mainstream Mormonism that the Constitution is divinely inspired and the framers of the Constitution were divinely inspired. So that's something that you'll hear about from many Mormons. The White Horse Prophecy.
Yeah.
The Constitution hanging by a thread.
And we know
or
that.
A Chad.
And we know that our friend Glenn Beck loves to say that, hanging by a thread. And I think we're going to be going on a break. So, yes, we spent a half hour talking about just Mitt Romney.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. And, Robin probably would have been bored anyways. Where is that
Where is
bitch?
Robin?
Where is Robin? That is a question. It's like, where's Waldo?
Okay.
All right. We'll be back. And when we do come back, we will obviously have our conversation with Amanda Grigsby. And then if you'd like to give us a call, please, 888-668-0742. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter and friend us on Facebook. We'll talk to you soon.
Cocaine Energy Supplement Studio. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
MSC Radio Network weather is brought to you by NeoWeather and NeoWeather.com, Ohio's home for weather. A secret thunderstorm watch remains in effect through 9 p.m. tonight. A cold front will slowly push south across the area through the afternoon and evening hours. This will spark some showers and thunderstorms across the region. Some of those thunderstorms could be severe with damaging winds and large hail. Heavy rainfall will also be possible as these storms will not move that fast. We've already seen a few warnings out there, so be sure to stay tuned to NeoWeather for the latest updates. Highs made into the low 90s in many locations so far this afternoon. Overnight tonight, expect thunderstorms to decrease and clearing to begin with a low of 75 degrees. Thursday will be cooler with highs in the low 80s and perhaps a few thunderstorms mainly early on. After that, we get back to mainly sunny skies through early next week as highs reach 90 once again by the weekend. From the MSC Radio Network and NeoWeather.com, I'm forecaster Mark Spencer.
If you live the lifestyle, then you should arrive in style. Lifestyle Limousine Service. Whether it's dinner for two, an evening at the winery, or a night out on the town, Lifestyle Limousine provides extraordinary service. Check them out on the web, lifestylelimousineservice.com. Reserve your ride now. 330-903-0508. 330-903-0508. Lifestyle Limousine Service. And make sure you tell them Morning Show Central Radio Network sent you. Cocaine Energy Supplement. Due to great consumer demand, Redux Beverages has officially announced the return of its world-famous Cocaine Energy Supplement. It's now available at retail locations across the country, as well as online at ReduxDirect.com. That's ReduxDirect.com. Don't forget to be part of the all-new Cocaine Energy Supplement social network, where you can meet other Cocaine Energy Supplement fans from around the world. Cocaine Energy Supplement. You can become a member. You can become a member by logging on to lovecocaine.com. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Rise above the clutter, brand your identity, and make a statement. Broken Fan Media. Expert video production, television and web commercials, music video, real estate tours, live concerts and events, state-of-the-art post-production, video and audio editing. Check us out on the web at brokenfanmedia.com. 434-944-0472. Broken Fan Media. The next generation of sight and sound. Having problems with your home computer or business PC? Looking to have some upgrade work completed on your computer? Have a special project in mind that may be too much for you to undertake alone? Time to call
Joe the Printer Guy!
Joe the Printer Guy offers a full-service hardware and software repair center at his facility to handle your PC, server, and networking needs. Let their professional service staff handle your computer needs. They offer expert service at an affordable price. Visit Joe the Printer Guy at 14035 Madison Avenue, Lakewood, Ohio. Online, joetheprinterguy.com, or give him a call at 216-651-3880. Joe the Printer Guy. If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningShowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com. You're listening to MSC Radio Network, and like anything else on the internet, it runs on computers. Lots of computers. And you know, when you're dealing with computers, hard drives sometimes crash. That happened here at MSC, and you know what saved them? Rectiphy backup software. Don't believe us? Well, ask yourself this question. Are you backed up? Probably not. So don't be that that guy and wait till it's too late. MSC did their research and tried tons of different backup programs and chose Rectiphy backup software. You know, peace of mind is priceless, and Rectiphy can give you and your computer system that peace of mind. Find out more at rectify.com. That's RECTIPHY.com. Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits, a 99.5% uptime guarantee, and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. Oh, wow. Language.
Okay, he was PMSing.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
We're back. This is G on Joust It Out with my dear friend Judith Pindell.
Hey.
Robin Our Hearts is
Still MIA. I hope everything's okay.
I really worry sometimes about her and the things she does.
And you just talked to Stanley this afternoon.
I know.
Around 2:30.
I know.
He posted that he'll be here too.
Right.
On Facebook.
I know. We thought, well, I knew Stanley wouldn't be here. Stanley is working and was not able to be in the chat room this evening for our folks that are out there in the chat room. But he'll be back next week in there, I hope. And Robin, we just don't know where she is. But, oh well, we have to go on.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. Robin Our Hearts can't clog us all up here.
Well, that first half hour, I got to say, went by like really super fast. What the heck did we even talk about? Because I know what we didn't talk about. We didn't get to talk about the VP nominee or, potential, which, I've got some of my favorites that I really hope make it.
And I have my favorites. Last week we put it on Facebook. We had a couple of responses. And
well, you think, you're going really safe, like Rob Portman and Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza won't make it. She's too pro-choice. Mm-hmm. Rob Portman, he's Ohio. I think there's some people who are like, oh, the rest of the country doesn't know who Rob Portman is. I think they do. I think those people are just saying they don't,
I think that Romney by nature is kind of a safe guy. So I don't think he's not going to take the chance. And I think the Republican Party is not going to let him pull a Palin out of his butt. Because
God, and I wish Michelle
I
Bachmann.
know. There are some elements.
But you know what? But what about Chris Christie? It's like, don't do. He's like a Chris Farley. That would be so fun.
I bet he makes Romney very uncomfortable.
Oh, I know. I'm sure he does, but that's why it would be fun. He's all blustery and just, I think of like Chris Farley when I see him.
Yeah,
so
kind of like a
fun.
mafioso Chris Farley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Bobby Jindal. You got the diversity going on.
That's a weird diversity. No offense to our Indian friends.
Not a fan.
But I'm not a fan either. I still don't get it.
Weren't people calling him Howdy Doody a few years ago when he gave the response, the first Republican response to the president's and they were calling him Howdy Doody. It just came off really bad. He's not a good public speaker. I still haven't seen the accounts of his exorcism. So I do need to look into that. But that might be a glitch in him getting the nomination.
Remember our friend Lee McDaniel, who is a guest of the show? Remember he was Bobby Jindal's roommate in college. And remember, he was kind of giving us the heads up on him. It sounds like Bobby's an interesting character.
Real quick.
Yes, Chris.
Speaking of Howdy Doody.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear about the sheriff that found more information about Obama's birth certificate?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The
really?
birthers.
Yeah. Did you read all that? at
Yes.
all? Oh my God.
It's
I
insulting.
haven't heard that. Well,
So
I mean, I get all my news from this show, but
It's a hick. Now that's scary.
I'm totally kidding.
So it's this hick sheriff that is saying again that he's looked at the birth certificate and it's false, and after all,
somehow this guy in the middle of nowhere has found like broken the code,
right,
and found what everybody has been looking for. That's awesome.
Well, let's
Good
go
for
back
him.
to the VP pick.
Yes.
So there's other women. Now, some people are saying that he definitely might go with a woman.
Right.
His
War on women, so he's got to pretend like he's not patriarchal.
Right. It would be nice if the woman was a woman of color, because I think that would help him.
Right.
But his other candidate choices that are women aren't so diverse in their appearance, because you actually have Kelly Ayotte, who's the senator from New Hampshire. You have now the one that is interesting. Go ahead.
So she's New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So that's really, he just has just like New England right there, and then that's just.
Yeah, it's probably not the best pick for him.
Not very diverse again.
Yeah. Now, Susana Martinez, who is the governor of South Carolina, is a possible pick, and Nikki Haley from Oklahoma. And then,
good times. She would be a good.
I'm sorry, Nikki Haley from South Carolina.
Right,
I get my people mixed
right.
up. Yeah.
No, she would be a fun one.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley. Yeah. She would be a fun one. There's a lot of
it'll give you more to play with.
Craziness going on in South
More
Carolina.
than Rob Portman or even Condi
Rob
Rice.
Portman is just, but it would be like two boring guys on a ticket.
Yeah.
Rob Portman and Romney. Boring.
So who are your picks? You get two.
I told you, Chris Christie was.
He's not going with Chris Christie.
Come
Go
on,
ahead.
don't ruin this for me.
Oh, yeah, who's the other?
I don't know. I got to think about it.
Yeah. Get one more.
I don't know. I know. Let me think about it.
Forget it.
But I already bashed Jindal. I don't know. I mean, I got to look to see who else.
Well, I think that whoever it is, I don't think it's going to sway the ticket that much. There was a recent poll that actually was showing that most Americans feel that the VP pick is about like 27% important, and then it's like somewhat to higher number. So, I mean, if you're saying, if only 27% of Americans think that it's important.
But I think it was important in 2004. When we look at Palin, it really was.
Yeah, and I think Biden actually helped Obama too. I think, having the old stable white guy that, people like, oh, okay, I can deal with this. Yeah.
He's kind of silly.
He's not so stable, but
At least he didn't shoot anybody in the face.
Compared to the crazy African-American Muslim that ran for the United States.
Right. The audacity.
See, we're even buying into calling our president a Muslim.
So,
Yes.
So speaking of Muslim, and now we've got the whole Mormon thing, like craziness. We just touched on the white horse prophecy.
Yes. So the white horse prophecy is, we never really got into this, but I think it definitely ties into some of the creepiness of the Mormon church. And I'm going to say this, I'm not going to speak for Judith about the Mormon religion, but my perspective on it is that it is a cult. It is
I
not.
agree.
I don't feel that it is an accepted religion only because of the time that the cult was created, which was in the 1800s.
Sure.
If that's why more people say Scientology is a cult, but don't say the Mormon religion is a cult because of
There's
the
been
time
enough
difference.
passage of time.
But when it comes to taking money from people, you have to live a lifestyle that is totally controlled by the church
And by men.
altered by men. Your money is tied into them. And I'm saying this knowing...
Isn't it Scientology?
Well, it's both. I mean, but I'm just saying that, and I want to be very clear that I do not... I'm not a person that thinks that Catholicism, Judaism, and all the other religions of the world are perfect. And I certainly know the history of them and that they would be tied to a lot of what I'm saying too.
Right.
So, but the difference is in this time in our life, Scientology, Mormonism, and how they create their following and what that looks like especially if you leave the church. I mean, Let's face it, if you're a Catholic and you tell your family, I'm no longer a Catholic, the church isn't telling you to never talk to your family member ever again.
Right.
And isn't heavy-handed where you have
you can be
people-
excommunicated.
You could be that's almost
But-
never
but-
done
right,
nowadays.
right,
I mean,
right.
that's something that
But yeah, no, I mean, if someone leaves the Lutheran church, like what's going to happen? Nobody, is going to come knocking on your door,
Right.
trying to get you back.
Right.
But on the downside, and I'm Lutheran, we do not get promised our own universe or our own planet when
Right.
we die.
That's right.
So, now I'm starting to weigh my beliefs here. I don't, maybe
That
it's
you
something-
want to get your own universe?
I'm thinking, it sounds so much more fun because the Lutherans are all like benevolent and, doing things for other people. You know what? Screw that.
You
I
want
want to
your
be
own universe.
self-centered and I want my own freaking universe.
With as many wives and whoever else on it.
Sure, I'll take all the wives.
See, I think you got something there.
But no, I seriously, I've had to do, some soul searching, but, thinking about, because I do believe that, I think that the Mormon church is a cult, but that's coming from, a religion that people could say is a cult as well. They broke off from the Catholic Church in 1517. But then, we got to remember Martin Luther wasn't trying to be a prophet and start his own religion and take people's money.
He also wasn't fleeing from the federal government
right.
and running scams in Vermont.
And starting corporations and,
so.
I don't know. But at the same... Well,
I think for me, one of the biggest things, and I would probably be a lot less willing to say negative things about the Mormon church if they had not spent so much time and energy going after the gay community
Right.
and building hatred and making sure that in California Prop 8 was created and all the many things that they have
that
done.
certain human beings were second-class, second-rate human
Right.
beings
So
in this country.
Sure.
They're asking for it.
They are. So, for my take is if you leave us alone, we leave you alone. You want to spend that much money to go after a community and people that deserve equality, and you think that you're allowed to be accepted and treated well, but other people aren't, then I would say you are suspect. Because why would you care from a religious perspective that LGBT people have equality in this country? That really impacts you in your church, and you brainwashing young children from China that you bring into your church and use them as slaves because you fed their family. Yeah, I got issues with you. Stop shaking your head. So, so here's my segue. Is that because obviously we're already into our second half hour.
I'm so sorry.
And this show has been derailed
this
you
whole
really
conversation.
did
It did.
derail us.
Well, every time I just want to really get down to the nitty gritty of this magic underwear, which we still
It's
have
gonna take
not
forever,
right.
Judith Bindel. It's
We're
gonna
not
take
talking
forever.
about it this time, but
Okay, so
I'm ordering mine online.
Our gay time has kind of really been cut down.
Okay, well,
now
hurry
it's
up.
7:50.
Let's talk fast.
Oh my God! So we got to have Chris has to make a phone call because we want to give an update on the our parade event, an issue that has happened.
Right. So if you remember, Matt, a truck driver out of Detroit, graciously offered to drive the float in the Pride Parade next year for the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland. So that was kind of where we left off.
Hello, Amanda.
Hi.
Hi, this is G with Joust It Out. How are you?
Hi, G. I'm good. How are you?
All right, just hold on. Judith is actually explaining a little background here, and then we're going to pull you in.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks for being on with us. So I was just I was just explaining that where we had left off. We had the bigoted truck driver drove off, left the task force without a float. This wonderful truck driver out of Detroit, Michigan, stepped up, said he would be more than happy, would love to drive the float for next year. All lined up, very excited. And Amanda, if you can just kind of and Amanda, you are married to Matt. Matt is your husband. And if you can just try to give us an update a little bit, what's going on now?
Well, we had received some mail last Friday, and it was an anonymous letter printed out on the computer that basically was calling Matt a disgusting human being and all kinds of stuff like that. So
Right. But the thing is that they actually got your home address. They used Matt's full name, middle initial included, correct?
Yes, they did, and that's kind of what creeped me out about that.
And you received it on a Friday, and what people don't probably know is that Matt's home on the weekend, but all week long he's out on the road. So you're home with your children during the week all alone, and now you get this threatening letter.
Right. Yep. And that's what I was more concerned with, is the fact that I'm home by myself with 3 small kids all week long, and I have some kind of psycho researching our name and address, and now they know where we live, and I don't know what to expect from day to day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I know I heard that you did try to take the letter to the police, and what happened there?
They basically told me that there was nothing they could do about it because they had gone to some lengths to make sure that they couldn't be identified. They taped everything on there, printed everything off the computer, no return address, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said, well, don't let it make you live your life in fear.
Yeah, that's a nice response. But we have made some calls, and we think we might have a little headway. And next week, you might be in contact with somebody, which is good news as of this afternoon. So, I think,
that's great news. You guys have been a huge help.
Yeah, so
I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure to do that. But I just want to say to you, Mandy, is that you did the right thing. You and your husband stood up with us in our community, and we really appreciate that. And for you to have to pay a price of now living in fear of who this person is and what that is, just for you being kind and generous to people, is really a painful and horrible thing.
Yeah, it's really unnerving just knowing that somebody's going to sit in their house and research somebody's house and kind of threaten them just for offering to do a good deed for somebody else. People need to get a life.
I just had a quick question, though, for you, G. Really fast.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe it might have been maybe someone from our inner circle, maybe that knew that he was going to do this and maybe decided, you know what, we're just going to send a letter to his wife?
I mean,
they went to great lengths. I don't know, man, because the news didn't mention his last name or where he was from or nothing,
Yeah, but actually, what was I going to say? No, but remember, he was on our show. And we said
I mentioned
his
last name. I mentioned Matt's
he was on the show with his last
show.
name, and we said Detroit, Michigan, but they actually found you live outside of Detroit, and the other thing is where is the location the letter came from is a distance from you, isn't it?
I spoke to my mailman, and he said that it was mailed from Michigan and not too far from here. He said, he can't tell exactly where it was from, but it was mailed in Michigan. It was stamped Thursday, and we received it Friday.
Yeah, it's got I forget the name of the town on there, but it.
If it came one day, it's around that area.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, and remember, this story was everywhere. So, and anyone can, if you follow the links online, you can find our show. You can find all of it. So I think that Chris, I just think that it is someone that she doesn't know, and it's what it is.
Right. And it's just awful, Amanda. Like you said, it's just. You two are standing up for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
The task force hasn't received hate mail that I know.
All the hate stuff was online, though, so there was a lot of hate stuff. We talked about
it was all online.
I think,
that's where I get kind of freaked out, because it's if they're going to say something on Facebook or online or email him or what, that's
one thing
completely different than researching where we live.
Right, because he's sending a message,
or to a whole nother level.
Whoever sent this is sending a message that they know where you live.
Right, and I have to say that my take on it, and we're gonna have to let you go because we did go late on the show getting you on, but my instant feeling was, I wonder if it's another truck driver, because to me that's the kind of, and this played out really well within some truck driving circles and associations online, and I almost feel like that to me would be the group of people that might, a fellow driver.
And I don't think that's too far fetched either.
Yeah.
I think you're probably going in the right direction with that.
All right. Well, Mandy, we're so happy that you called in and we spoke to you tonight. We certainly will be following up with you on this story and continue that. But again, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
so
again
much.
for helping.
Absolutely. We'll keep track of this story and do whatever we can to help you. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, so yeah, that was disturbing.
So bizarre.
I know. Well, so this week, and it was so fun, and it was on the weekend. You got an email, and I got an email from her. Just kind of, she was freaking out,
Well,
really.
sure.
Which I don't blame her. I totally
I've
don't
never
blame her.
gotten hate mail, anonymous hate
Disturbing.
mail through the postal service.
Right.
It kind of got me. I don't know. It's got me wondering though. I mean, they went to great detail to get this information, and they're in the same town that they are.
Well, it's not the
not
same
the same
town.
town, but in the same state.
It's same state.
Probably.
Yeah. So it's got to be someone in their inner circle that doesn't.
That would know that this even occurred, and that
right.
he was the one that stepped up.
It's gotta be. Or
So,
another,
we'll
maybe
see.
a fellow truck driver that he knows or something.
Right. That
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's not far off.
Yeah.
Well, on a positive note, there was a good thing that happened. The very first civil union or gay marriage wedding took place at a military base.
On a military base in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, just this past week, which is great. It was a gay couple that they met at church 4 years ago, and one is a sergeant, and the other, I don't know what the other one is.
He's a regular civilian.
Oh, he is. Okay.
He's just one of us.
Oh, yeah. But Chris, if you can put up the photo, I guess that's why he has a tux on and not a uniform.
Not a military uniform. So their names are. You have the names there.
Yeah.
So we've got Erwin Umali and Will Behrens at Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey. Tech Sergeant Umali in the uniform.
Very
Mr.
nice.
Behrens in the tuxedo.
So congratulations, guys.
Yes, congratulations. That's adorable.
So there's
I
a
love
positive thing, and we're going to end the show also on another positive note, and I have a video I'm going to play here in a second.
So, the little tied into some of the Mormon discussion that we had.
Yes, how did that happen? I lose my videos all the time. I'm not very good at that.
You ready?
We're ready. Let's take it on this note.
And these are actual Mormon missionary
Mormon
students.
missionaries.
You feel my spirit every time we
You see why Romney's so hip and happening.
Right.
Watch their moves.
So I set my scriptures down. Before I met you, you didn't know anything about the gospel, but all the joy it can bring.
The gospel, yes.
You would have been baptized. Let's go pray. You pray tonight, no demands, just thanks. We can
Wait, you're doing it wrong.
read the scriptures, love you and I will be more than for life. You make me feel like I'm living a Mormon dream.
A Mormon dream.
I can't sleep.
Oh, wait.
Let's run away and go to a sacrament. Let's go to a sacrament.
Go to a sacrament.
My heart stops when you look at me. Just one vision, baby. I believe this is real. Let's take a chance and go to a sacrament.
Go to a sacrament.
So pray, yeah, pray tonight. No demands, just thanks. We can read the scriptures of you and I. We'll be Mormon for life. You make me feel like I'm living a Mormon dream. The way you play me, sleep. Let's run away and go to a sacrament.
Go to a sacrament.
My heart stops when you look at me. Just one vision, baby. I believe this is real. Let's give a chance and go to the sacrament. Let's go to the sacrament. I'm gonna get your big racing with my testimony. Be your Mormon dream tonight.
Mormon dreams.
Let your testimony in my breast while it seems to be your Mormon dream tonight.
They're not following the video moves. to a sacrament.
Stops when you look at me. Just one glitch and baby, I believe this is real. Let's take a chance and go to Sacramento. Go to Sacramento. Get your faith racing with my testimony. Be your Mormon dream tonight. Let you bear your testimony in my breast white seams. Be your Mormon dream tonight.
Woohoo! Mormon dreams.
We'll be back next week.
See ya.
Where's our music? I think we're done.